And I'd like to talk to you about today from a perspective of appreciating, understanding, recognizing, valuing, and feeling those early days and what they have meant. You know, we began as a profession with people that had absolutely no explanation for what we did, how it worked, why it worked. None whatsoever. No sympathetic, parasympathetic, no JMPT, no spine, no referee journals, no research papers. The only thing they knew is that the power of an adjustment. In the early practitioners, it was talked about that they were snatched from the gates of death by a chiropractic adjustment. Their lives were changed in a moment. Thompson, the inventor of the Thompson terminal point table, great chiropractor, a terminal diabetic, sugar in the 600 range, going to die from it very shortly. A couple adjustments, Clay's on his way from a pharmacy career to a chiropractic career. People snatched from the gates of death. Those were the people that began this profession. And as they began this profession, they had absolutely nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing. Janis Joplin told us that freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. They had nothing to lose, and they had every freedom in the world. They could say the most outrageous things. They could do the most outrageous things. What did they have to lose? They didn't have any insurance to lose. They didn't have any licenses to lose. They didn't have any accreditation to lose. They didn't have any recognition to lose. They didn't have any public acclaim to lose. They had nothing. And the nothingness gave them the courage to do what they wanted to do and do it the way they saw fit to do it. In 1991, would we do it the same way? I hope not. We've got our own way to do it, and we've got our own style to do it, but we've got to respect what they did. We've got to expect what they contributed to the profession and what it meant to them, and the vision that they had. Just like that night at 2:30 in the morning in the Ashboro Village, and Dr. Williams talking about what would be at Life College. And what is today was what he talked about that night. What would be at Life College is what these people talked about when they got together and they sat around and they understood one thing, that if they moved these bones, people got well. That's all they knew. That's all they knew. That's all they wanted to know. They understood that fully, completely, and they burned with it. And they burned with that desire to take that one simple message to as many people as they possibly could, as far and as wide, with as much boldness, as much bravado, and as much guts as they possibly could muster, because they had nothing to lose and they had everything to gain. Clarence Gonstead in 1925, going door to door in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin with an adjusting table. I've got something for the flu. People were dying from it. Had nothing to do for it. 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, going from house to house with a portable adjusting table to provide for the needs of that community. Courage. Courage. Great courage. I contend that there is that same courage today in the profession. I contend that that same courage is within the GCC, that same courage is within Life College, and I hope and pray that same courage is within Life West. Because nothing has changed and everything has changed. And I'd like to read a quote, if I might, from The Tale of Two Cities. There's a part about The Tale of Two Cities that I have to tell you about later on. It's got to do with Dr. Nell, but I'll save that. Dickens wrote, "It was the best of times, and it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, and it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, and it was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light, it was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us, we had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven, or we were all going the other way." That was the Tale of Two Cities. In 1895, that was the story of the chiropractors that first began to put our message on the map. And in 1991, it's the story that's before us today. It is the age of great wisdom, and it is the age of great foolishness. The great foolishness was alluded to previously. Every study that's come out in the last 10 years, every single study that has come out has demonstrated that chiropractors get a person back to work at less cost in a shorter period of time than any other form of care. recent studies out of Utah, recent studies out of California, recent studies out of Florida, out of Texas, every single one of them. The foolishness of the age says we need to cut the chiropractors out of workers' comp. The wisdom of the age says they're doing it cheaper. Diagnosis for diagnosis, condition for condition. They're getting them back to work cheaper in a shorter period of time. But the conventional wisdom of the age says we need to do something about the chiropractors. We also have to understand that we're on the cusp of something absolutely stupendous in chiropractic. Have any of you ever heard of Ken Kesey? Ken? Okay, a couple of Kesey fans here. Kesey wrote a book called The Handbook for Higher Consciousness. And in Kesey's discussion in this book, he was talking about a phenomenon that he associated with nuclear war. And he told the story of a situation that he referred to as the 100th monkey. And he described a species of monkey in the South Pacific that began to eat, I believe it was a sweet potato, in a certain fashion. Began to wash it in a certain way, to handle it in a certain fashion, and eat it in a certain fashion. And as more and more and more of the monkeys in that group of monkeys on that one island began to exhibit this behavior, it became more popular until it reached a point in a concentration and a critical mass of monkeys that exhibited that behavior to instantly, throughout the world, all of the monkeys of that species on islands far removed began to exhibit that exact same behavior. No fax machines, no computers, no inter-monkey conference lines, okay? They all began to experience that same behavior. They all began to demonstrate it the same way. Now, Kesey used it in reference to nuclear war, that if enough of us believe that nuclear war is a possibility, and if enough of us believe it's a likelihood, we can create that critical mass and that consciousness will pervade the society and it could become a reality much easier. There's a twist on the 100th monkey that applies to us. And I would contend to you tonight that the 100th monkey in chiropractic has been reached. That there is a concentration, enough critical mass that's been approached and awakened within the population that suddenly people throughout the country that have no knowledge of chiropractic have an acceptance of chiropractic.